live and we're communicating to the beauty and wellness industry. Thank you so much for thanks so much for taking time out to be with us. It's been it's actually been very exciting for us to put this week together. This whole concept of honoring some of the icons in the industry, which we've called Legends Week. We've had like Nalini and Lata Kanchandani, and yesterday we had Blossom. Today we have you. Tomorrow we have Lata Mon. Sunday we have Patrick Cameron. So it's just been very exciting to us to get to kind of dig deeper and meet some of the kind of guiding lights that this industry's had. And what's been really interesting is that we just seem to have been built on such a powerhouse of positive, energetic women, in this community. So we were looking at that, and I was like, wow, we've just got such amazing women that have been the bedrock of the beauty and wellness community. And I know you've got your own journey about how you came here, how you really started up the nail segment. So
yes.
So
thank you so much. And I miss the PBI shows. I definitely
I know.
Don't think there's any energy as vibrant as that.
Thank you.
And
I was chatting to I was chatting to Minu and Harp earlier, saying one, I miss you guys, because then you realize that it's been a while since we've connected. But also I was telling them that you've also been one of the driving forces for PBI, and for us to keep going, because what it takes to come from another country, settle here, do business. And there have been many times I've been crying and wanting to go home, and there's people like you and Lata and Dr. Mohan and Nalini, and we've had so many people just keep saying, look, just keep going, just keep going.
I've had
so I want to thank you for that.
Quit and leave. I've had those moments, so I can totally relate to that. You just want to say enough, I'm going back. But yes, PBI has been, even before you came, it wasn't the same, but I didn't know that it was outsourced. But we've been doing it since probably 2006 when they first started.
Wow. Yeah.
And then you guys came in and took it over and made it a grand show. But I think Mark had somebody taking care of it to launch it in India, but it was not the same. So you've done wonders. It's evolved, and you can see the metamorphosis. It's come into a grand show, and with so many others happening, I think PBI still holds its place. So that's the good part of it, and I think a lot of it goes to your team. You have been leading that in India. I don't give much credit to Mark because he's only on vacation here.
Yeah.
So
I'll pass that message on. So I do like that. It is, and you're right. I mean, we've got an amazing team, and like even the work they're doing at the moment, and we're producing content and interviews like on a daily basis. Next week is next 2 weeks are chock-a-block, and we're doing at least one, if not two, sessions every day for the next 2 weeks. And we could never have got to this level without the hard work the team have put in. So I'm really grateful for the PBI and the IDEX team for all the work they do as well.
So what do you think about a digital PBI show? I know I'm going off topic, but it just occurred to me that you could be doing it with all the exhibitors over a couple of days or something, and it would be like a digital PBI where we all shoot our videos and send you, and our stage shows and send you, and you showcase it, as live entertainment, and each vendor supplier gets their time to showcase. That's if you're not going to do it this year. If you're going to do the shows, of course, there's nothing like it.
So I don't know, can you still hear me? Because I've lost connection.
Joban, I've lost audio. Can't hear you.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah, working said 2 minutes. Yeah. I see so many people joining in. Thank you, ladies and guys. Thank you so much for joining in. We just have a little bit of an audio glitch. Please bear with us. And in the meantime, I would love to welcome everybody. And also, if you have any questions, I know you have lots, and we will take care of them. And if you want to start sending the questions now, most welcome, because we're just taking care of the technical glitch on the other end as soon as it's reinstated. So if you have questions, please do go ahead and shoot them to me. I'm really happy to see everybody joining in. It's really nice to talk about our journeys, share our trade secrets, and bring everybody together in the industry today more than ever before, that we could think of a crisis like this coming to us and how we would handle it together. So we are absolutely together in this, and I'm here to support each and every one of you, whatever that may be, whether it's to do with nails or it's to do with anything else. It doesn't matter. It's we share a connect, whether it's the industry, whether it's nails, whether it's humane, anything that you guys want to reach out to, please do that. Lata ji, thank you so much.
Oh, it's okay. GS, can you hear me at the moment? I am back.
I can hear you now. Now, yes.
Okay. So I love that. I love the fact we can work from home, but we're still not technically ready, technologically ready for full work from home in India.
Yeah, it comes and goes. Your audio comes and goes, but I can hear you.
Okay, great. So if that happens, look, I think people don't want to hear from me. They actually want to hear from you. So even if that happens again, you should just keep chatting about your journey and what got you started here. I know before it cut off, you were talking about PBI Virtual. What we're doing at the moment with a digital program is really part of how do we still keep the community engaged, connected, even through difficult times. And we very quickly took a decision that either we can just sit at home, not doing anything for months, waiting for an exhibition to start again, or how do we fulfill our philosophy, which is keeping the community engaged, connected, inspired, learning. And which is why we got onto, okay, let's see what we can do online through Instagram, Zoom, Facebook, YouTube. And now it's just kind of really rolling for us. And we're getting a lot of, again, positive support from the industry to, come up with new ideas and just really help, just keep helping. Will we ever go to a virtual exhibition? I think it's more of a wait and see, because physical events are still, meeting people in physical events is still I think what drives humans. Absolutely. It will never replace. It's not going to replace a physical event, but we'll just keep ideating about how do we keep being of service to the community. So let's see. And just going back to you, so before even the India journey, what was your journey before India in terms of getting into nails and beauty? How did that start?
Oh, I don't know how many people know, but I'm from an IT background. I worked with Air Canada for decades, and I
Wow, I
was
did not know
training.
that.
Oh, you didn't know that? Okay. And I was training, heading training for, software and the systems. And we went through so many changes with all the airlines. You know how it was in the 80s and 90s with airlines merging left, right, and center. You know, the systems were merging, so new systems, and there was nonstop training. So that's what I did for the better part of my life. So that was, nails was not even like, it was not even there. But yes, it was
Yeah,
a very big part of my life in the corporate world. And that's what got me thinking, because, you know, in North America, you've lived outside of India, you know, there's no help, there is nothing. We're pretty much solo, especially the
yeah,
women, with the kitchen, the kids, the husband, the career, everything. So
yeah,
just getting my nails done once a month or once in 3 weeks was giving me freedom. And it wasn't, and there wasn't many nail bars. There was hardly any nail bars around. There was a few American and Canadian ladies doing that, but that's about it. And if I can relate it in pricing, it was like $80 to $100 for a new set, and $50, $40 to $50 for a refill. So if you go
wow,
back into the 90s and you're paying that kind of money to maintain your nails, you know how specialized it was. It wasn't available
yeah,
everywhere. And it wasn't till the Vietnamese and the Koreans came along, which is mostly the East Coast is Koreans, which includes US and Canada, and the West Coast is Vietnamese. So they took over pretty much into mid 90s or later. Yeah, early 90s maybe. And they just, the business just exploded. They opened up these nail shops everywhere. So to make it relative, that they brought down prices to, it was like $30 for a new set and $15 for a refill.
wow,
So,
yeah,
and this was all over North America. And it was mushrooming everywhere. And women were waiting. They would go there and have to wait even with an appointment. There was a couch there or something, and everybody was like, and they handled it, like the Canadians and American women were handling it differently. Their culture was different. Their business sense was different. Uh, but now with the Koreans and the Vietnamese, we have a lot of Vietnamese salons in Canada, the nail bars in Canada, and they were they came up with this replicate duplicate kind of philosophy, you know and so they brought it down cheap, 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 and they mushroomed everywhere. And so the more they mushroomed, the more women realized that this was such an easy thing. But you know what? It's not about beauty, because the housewives are doing it, the nurses are doing it, the 70 somethings are doing it, the 80-year-olds are doing it. So I realized this is not about fashion. This is about freedom. This is about you know not having it's the groomed look without having to put your polish every week. It chips off, you
mm,
remove it, you put it
yeah,
back, because you got to go to work the next day. You hardly have time. You come home, you cook, wash, clean, get the lunches ready for the kids next day, and you're off to bed and off to work the next day. Where is the time?
yeah,
So this was freedom, like, oh, I'm done, 3 weeks. And there were times, and we weren't open on Sundays. So one Saturday a month, I had to go sit in line somewhere. And my son would say, oh, so we're not getting Indian food this weekend, because the mom has no time to cook. She has to be at the nail bar. Yeah, but that's how important it was. But it took care of so much. Like, you didn't have to match anything, you didn't have to do anything. I
yeah,
was back to work, and if they called me into the boardroom, I'm sorry, these buds
it's
are.
okay.
If they get you into the boardroom, you just grab your blazer from your chair and you go in, and you're not worried that your nail polish is chipped and you're looking tacky. You see, so I'm of the opinion that every woman can look smashing with just her uh, nails, hands and toes looking fresh and good. She looks awesome. She looks presentable. You know, everything is in place. I could have a ponytail, I could have a t-shirt, I could be on a beach. But my hands and toes give the impression that, oh wow, she's always ready, you know? So I thought that was a great thing for any woman, you know, like we don't have time to do all this for ourselves, but if you can go somewhere and couple of hours, and of course it's your fixed expense, so you don't have to think about it, just like going to the hairdresser. So the two things that will always be there is the hair and the nails. And I think that's why Dubai has launched hair and nails 2 weeks ago.
Good point. Yeah, that was the first ones they opened up.
Because it's grooming. It's all about grooming. You can do without your hair, and you can do without your nail job. So I think that's a very good industry to be in. And beauty salons really in India are, we got into this whole thing with beauty, and we call it beauty salons, but a lot of it is to do with grooming. Why would people spend money and time if they didn't need the services? You know, I think.
But how did you? What was the transition? So obviously you were, you know, first as well, like you're working in IT Air Canada. You're studying. You're looking at the blotting. But what was that? What made you say, you know what, I'm going to give up a good white collar corporate job and do something very, very different, which I'm sure, you know, would have shocked the family as well if you decide to give up that kind of role to say, well, I want to do something in beauty.
My son said, Mom, I'm going to get you a golf membership, and you have to go learn golf. And I said, in Canada, golf membership, 6 months of snow. I'm sorry, my buds are not working. I'm just going to put on the lead.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Yeah. You're still audible though.
I can get them to stay. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Are you? Okay.
We can hear you fine, actually.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So this whole thing was, I'm not gonna, if I have to buy a golf membership to go learn golf and have snow 6 months a year, so I'm only going for 6 months, that too on a weekend, that too maybe every weekend. So here I was like wanting to learn nails, and he said, what are you wasting your time learning nails? I said, no, it's absolutely interesting for me to see what they do on a small palette like that. And I just started it off as a hobby. And a hobby, you know, it was a stress buster. It was basically that, because you know how the corporate jobs are.
Yeah, and a son like Harp as well. It must have been very stressful. So.
So it was like, no, that's not, you're not going to learn nails. Anyways, that is how my journey started with nails. And I went to, there was a lady in, I started out with the shows. The first show that happened in Toronto, the spa show they used to call it that time. And I went to the show and I met all these people, the nail people, and I found a local guru who was very good. And but she was like 2 hours away from me. And I said, that's fine. I'm going to come down and learn on the weekends. So I started to do that. I would go every other weekend for a day here, a day there, and started to learn. And it was very interesting. And I've done that with somebody in Atlanta, and I've done that with somebody in California, because I was with Air Canada. So flying out to any destination for a long weekend was not a problem, right? So just hopping on a plane, going there, learning. And if I open my notes, I'm very good at making notes and all. And if I open that, even today, if I open and go through it, I will learn something new. It is so good. See, the difference between, I love to go to an institute, which I didn't do, but I went to these gurus. But what I learned from them was their trade secrets of their contribution of 20 years or 30 years or whatever. So that maybe in my institute in India, that's what I want to share with them. That's why we want to go that step further and them so much that you're giving them the juice, You're not showing them just this, and then you go fall on your face and fix it. No, this is what we did and it didn't work, and this is what you're doing. Is this going to be 100%? It'll work for you. We guarantee it. Just like I was listening to Blossom as well. I think everybody who runs an institute and has the years of experience has that passion to share. If I can find a guru who's willing to share, and yes, some of them charged me $500 a day, and somebody charged me $200 an hour, but it was like getting the juice and getting so much information, and to be in touch with them today. They are the big names all over North America, and I'm one phone call away from them. Like, even I think, I don't know if people read on my Facebook or whatever, but I'm a fan of Doug Schoen. He's a NASA scientist working as a world authority for nails in the nail industry in North America. And he is absolutely the guru. So if you have any question, he knows the chemicals, he knows what is to be done, the norms in the salons, and everything. What should be disinfected, what should be sterilized. So, just to be in the aura of these people, your learning never stops. So I think that's where I got lucky. I couldn't find an institute. I would have gone to one, but Sheridan College was offering a beauty course, which was like 3 months, and I couldn't give up my job for 3 months. So maybe that it just worked out that way, that I went to the gurus. So that was, like, my journey started there, but I never thought of making it a career. I was still very much doing IT. I was still very much, into my job.
So what was the switch? So what was the switch of, okay, you're doing a weekend course because you didn't want to do golf. So what was the switch to suddenly saying, you know what, let's do something with this?
My trip to India, I used to come every year. And when I left India, there wasn't beauty salon culture. It was very little. Shehnaz was there and little bit was there. But then I used to come every year, and in between I saw VLCC coming up. And I said, wow, that's great. They're all over, like they're, opening everywhere. So it's accessible, right? And, but I never thought about doing anything in India with beauty or with anything. It was my sabbatical in 2003 that got me thinking. I had 6 months and I didn't know what to do with. I had promised my parents that they used to live in Delhi, and I had promised them that if they moved to Gurgaon, they had a house here, but they had never moved here, that if you move to Gurgaon, I will come and spend time with you. And that's the sabbatical that brought me here. But Gurgaon then was just
not much.
Like fields. You pass through some fields, and then there's a gated society, and you go here, and then there's a gated society. So I'll tell you, relatively, from that house, from mom's house to Galleria, where I opened the first nail bar, was an 8-minute ride door to door. Today, that ride is 35 to 40 minutes. So you can imagine how much it's developed. But at that time, yes, that was the thing. I said, who's going to do my nails here? I'm here for 6 months, and who's doing my nails? So somebody, my sister-in-law, she suggested, I guess you'll have to go to Bangkok every month. And that was a funny thing. I said, really? To get my nails done? I said, I know everything about nails. Why don't I just open a nail shop? And she said, and then what? I said, well, at least 6 months. We'll be busy. We'll do something, and that's how it started. But then I found out that I wasn't allowed to open it. I don't have an Indian passport. So I wasn't back then in 2003, 2004. You're not allowed to open business in India. You had to have an Indian partner. So then my partner, Uma, who I can never thank enough, she was 51% and I was 49%. And that's how the first nail bar happened. So when we opened that first nail bar, I trained her to do nails. So she and I were the first nail techs in India, sitting there doing nails. Wow. And people at work, back home were like, are you crazy? Are you nuts? Come back, get back to your job. And it started like that. Nobody wanted to get nails done. There was no takers.
What did your parents say during that time? Because they would have been so proud. Oh, wow, like our daughter's in IT. she's also with Air Canada. It's like perfect. And then you're saying, I'm going to give it up to be a beautician, essentially. They must have been horrified.
No, they said as long as you don't go back, you're doing something for 6 months, that's fine. Well, it was only a 6-month thing. It wasn't going to be long term. So they were like, okay. And my son was, of course, saying, stop this nonsense about opening this thing. Read books. You love reading. How much can you read? How much can you do? You're sitting in the wilderness. You hear the birds. They have a pond. You look at the kingfisher coming, picking up the fish. I mean, how long do you do that? You know, it wasn't back then. I think I had too much energy to get something going. And anyway, so that was this journey, and nobody wanted to do nails. And so we had pedicure station, and people would come for pedicure. They would ask, but that one thing that they would say is that nails, no, I don't want artificial nails, you know. So it wasn't something that I was going to be aggressive, and because I'm here for 6 months. You know, I'm just going to enjoy myself. I enjoyed meeting people. Those who did come in and chatted with me became so friendly. We know each other since 16 years now. These ladies have been coming, and it became a very social thing. So it was nice. You know, a few hours in the day, Uma and I were there. It was social and back. But then we realized that we can't keep on doing this. Like, aren't we going to start training somebody? You know, and training is something, if you're a trainer and you're in IT, you could be training anything. A trainer is a mindset, an educator is a mindset. So I said, yeah, of course I'll train them, why not? You know, and I took out all my notes and everything, and I said, here, this is this, and I realized this isn't going to work in India. Nobody wants a book with 300 pages because these guys don't know how to read, you know. So that was a big challenge, that they were interested. Ma'am, yeah, I'll learn, but I have to make money. Am I not better off being a pedicurist? So it started with that journey. And that's how we got the education happening.
Wow. And what was your first business called back then? The salon that you opened up?
Nail spa, just nail spa.
Oh, it's still, okay, wow.
It was just nail spa, but later on, the add-on came nail spa by Gurpreet, because everybody who was opening was calling it nail spa. And then I had people going there and then calling me, but this is not yours. You know, they're doing things differently. So then we just added that. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so your sabbatical ended, and then you just stayed on?
Yes. I went back. Within 2 months, I went back because I had to fly down to California, pick up all the supplies and the products, and some from Canada, some from California. And I came back, and the shop was rocking, going fine. I mean, as in, like, we started to do business, but we were enjoying it. It wasn't like business too much, but we were enjoying it. And then when I came back here, I said, oh, I have another 2-3 months, and then I can be back, because my daughter was back there and everybody was all over the place. And I said, okay. But by the time those 6 months went on, it was already becoming a very strong, the signs were there that this is a service that women can relate to, and they wanted it, and they didn't want us to close down. But unfortunately, my partner, Uma, had a baby, and she didn't want to come back to work because that was her second baby. So what was I to do? So I said, I'm going to wrap up and go back. But then things changed, and I said, okay, let's start a full-fledged education thing. If this business has to work in India, if we want to bring more nail bars into India, then the first thing is the education. And in 2005, we opened the academy in Delhi. And that's when we started to train the people. And that was probably the foundation stone. I loved it. I started to enjoy it, bringing all these. There was no, at that time, there was very few people coming. There were owners. There weren't any other children. But then I had a group of 5 kids who came to me from West Bengal, totally underprivileged, no education, nothing. And they agreed to train. And that is what got me. I think just seeing them evolve into, they started to dream, they started to talk about what they want to do and how creative they were, and we employed them in our own nail bar, and we saw the big change, that these kids were from going from nothing to having a career, because somebody was just a helper in a salon, somebody was just a junior pedicurist, and somebody was just like cleaning the salon, and none of them had any education. So that, I think, got me interested, that education and the academy is what I want to do. So when I flew back with the decision, mom and dad obviously said, no, no, it's okay, stay here, stay with us, stay with us. I mean, the shock of going from Air Canada to nail spa, but they were very happy to have me around, and I was single by then.
What
So
did your
there was,
Air Canada team say? Oh God.
that's okay. I think
What did the Air Canada team say?
the Air Canada, everybody in Air Canada said, you're mad, you're crazy, you lost it. We need you here.
Yeah.
Who's going to do your job here? We were waiting for you to come back. I mean, everything. They couldn't believe it. They still didn't believe when I was there and telling them all this. They thought it was a joke, I was pulling a fast one. But then they realized that, okay, she is going back, because I started to put in my orders for the supplies from California, and I have to ship this, and I have to do this at home or that at home. So yeah, then it was a silly one, but it happened. Yeah, the video is gone. I think that because the video is gone. I can only see you.
We can still. Yeah, we can still see you though, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
So on screen on Facebook, we're both still visible.
Okay.
Okay, so then you started Nail Spa 2004. And then did you have any kind of real vision about it, or was it like, okay, great, I'm just going to be close to my parents, you'll be home, it's something to keep you busy, or was there any kind of real vision behind what you want to do with this industry?
At that point, no. No, the vision was only for the education part of it. That I knew I wanted to do. That I wanted to get these children and start training them. That I knew for sure. But on the retail side, not really. That I'm going to, like franchise and open 100 stores. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, on a side point, what's really interesting, like having spoken to like Blossom this week, and then Lata Kanchandani, and then Nalini, that all of you, and even we spoke to Mark Hayes, who's the global creative director of Sassoon on Sunday. But it's amazing how what we see in the ones that are still going on, and is that whole level of generosity and passion and wanting to give. So it's really interesting that all of you in this week have just kind of mentioned that it's that wanting to give back, help develop people, inspire kids. It's been amazing, and that's kind of what's been driving each of you to keep going. And I know just from your journey, when we've known each other for like 10 years now, that how much you've done for the underprivileged, and it's still a real passion for you to really impact change in this country.
Very gratifying. There is no better emotion, no better sense of self-worth other than when I'm with them and doing everything and training them and teaching them and giving. And sometimes you're in a very strange kind of an environment, because when they come from the village, they don't know they have to comb their hair or brush their teeth and all. So the first little while it comes into, like we try to groom them and soft skills and personality development, and then the nail training starts later, So that part gave me an insight that what is rural life in India. They would show a picture of a mud hut and how that was all they had. So that all that makes you like they say, to those who a lot has been given, a lot is expected. And that expectation, because in all our lives, yours, mine, everybody, we've had people come in and touch us in ways that have fulfilled our dreams, or taken us one notch higher, or given us the motivation or the courage to move. So I call these people who make dreams come true. So I've had many people in my life, and I think these children need me to be that for them. Because today in West Bengal, if you look at that Nadia district, which is the district those first five came from, they all have 3 rooms made with brick and mortar, a kitchen and a toilet. And that is all coming from the nail industry. I haven't done it for them. They have done it, but they trusted that they had faith in me to, you know, when I told them that, yes, you'll do well, you'll get a job, you'll make money. So they didn't know A from B from C. And they put their faith in me. So I feel I have to give back a lot. I owe them a lot, and I'm happy to see that the change has happened, with a lot of them. But we still have other states, and I'm very keen to go into, like, maybe a Jharkhand, or even Bihar or Chhattisgarh, and we've now have actively started working on this. I've actually started to approach people, even in through BWSSC also. I've been very aggressive with Monica. Let's do this. Let's go there, because we need to do this for everybody. For everybody. I feel there is so much potential.
How did the kind of the nail spa business group end up developing? So you did move into beyond education, to opening up salons, to get into franchise, and what was behind the kind of evolution of the brand over the last 15 years?
Oh, that's very interesting, because when I was hopping back and forth to California and back, and Canada and back, and getting the products, checking them, sitting with them, testing them, and then sending them to India. So I started with IBD, then we did OPI, then we did Star, we did Cucho. I was selling everything, but there was the gel, and it's of course, that's another story why I didn't want to do acrylic in India. But the gel was not as solid, and the staying power was not working, probably because our weather is different. We're not centrally air conditioned. We're not centrally heated. We have an extreme in North India till 48 degrees. We have high humidity in Mumbai in the monsoons, and then you have down south. So we have variable weathers, and it wasn't stable in every climate. So I started to test products for one of the very big manufacturers who manufactures for these brands. And they started to send me tons of product in India. I still have about 10 boxes. And they would just send me, I would test it, send them the feedback. So I was like doing an evaluation, of everything. And they were very kind to allow me to do it, because it also helped me pick a gel that would work, and then the journey of the gel polish, because nobody wanted to do gel polish. But I was very keen, because the background with my nail techs, they are not educated. So anything to make life simpler, technology simpler, just bring it on, so they can use it from a gel instead of the gel jars, which had to be stirred all the time and applied with a gel brush, which takes a lot of checks and balances. And you're just taking out, from a nail polish bottle, chuck, 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 and you're done. So it's a huge difference. And then these manufacturers were slowly moving towards that. Some brands were, some brands were not. So my hop, skip, and jump, I was on an average, I think I did about 60, 70 days in India, and I was back there. And this was for the first 5 years. It just continued that way, because everything had to be, and then when, Harp and everybody, when they joined, and I said, you know what, we've done so much testing for these people. Why don't they give us a private label? And that's when the big question mark came, that should we drop every brand, whatever we've done so far, and go in for private label? But it's a huge, challenge, and even to imagine that you have 200 SKUs, and you're going to be able to get everything on your own, procure everything on your own. I mean, the chemicals is one part that we will take care of with the manufacturer association. They will do it for us. But what about the other stuff? Some things have to come from China, like the milers or the glitters or the stickers and stuff. Some things have to come from Korea, the drill machines and the LED lamps and this. And some things have to come from Taiwan. And the chemicals have to come from North America, and now from Europe also. So, it's a big challenge, because you've taken on, you're just reassembling a car. Instead of buying a car, you just bought everything and you're going to put it together and you hope it runs. So that was a change, turnaround. It was a big turnaround time for us to take that decision and to move forward with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you could turn back time, would you still take that decision, or would you be a distributor?
I would still take the decision. It's given me so much freedom to, for example, anything that I want to fast forward with my retail environment for the user end, for the technicians. Things are very slow. Nobody is testing for India, Vikas. Nobody is manufacturing for India. We're not a big buyer. We don't have that big a nail business in India. So no brand is going to do anything for us. We have to do it here. So that part was the best decision, because we found the gels that work. We got stuff that is like a lot easier to apply, and now we are coming up with this was supposed to be in June, but obviously now we're going to have to push it. But I was going to come up. We've been testing on my nails, Nalini, for a year. We test everything for a year before we launch it, and this is going to take out 20 minutes from a service, which meant a lot to me 4 months ago, but it means much more to me today, because now between clients we have to have that post service and the cleanup and the disinfect, and now it even matters more, right? Because that 20 minutes is a big deal. But not only that, the ease of application will reduce my training time and my application time for my technicians. So you see these are big achievements for me, not for the user. Doesn't know. Maybe people in the industry don't know how much work goes into it to bring that to your doorstep so that you can make more money, right? So if you're going to do 6 clients, a technician is going to do 6 clients or 4 clients in a day, they can now do at least 30% more.
Wow.
So that share can be used, so that's where the money, right?
Yeah, and that's, like you said, it's really important in the post-lockdown era, because
very important.
Clients are going to want to spend less time in Salon, which means less revenue. But then salons, like you said, if they can figure out how to process clients faster and then get more treatments, it is going to be an important issue.
A lot faster, and then we are going to go on to with the new technology. I think my digital online training, we have been working on that for a long time, not making any decisions, because we always say it's a hands-on, but now the hands-on is going to become so easy that we are actually looking at online training. We are looking at it seriously.
Good. That's good, actually. And before we start talking about the kind of future of what's going to happen post-lockdown, but how have you seen, what have you seen as kind of the big changes in the last 15 years, from being the first nail technician in the country to, say, now 2020? What have you seen as a kind of big advancements and, in the industry, in the nail segment in particular?
I think the one good thing is that it continues to grow. But on the other side, like, it's a very good business. It's a small ticket thing to do. Even a girl out of college wants to. I get a lot of students who are just finishing college and they want to do a nail bar, and there are housewives, or anybody can do it. Even these guys who are learning from Northeast or West Bengal or anywhere, even they are opening. It's become an entrepreneur thing. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, and it's very easy. It's very downside I see is that nobody wants to toe the line in terms of we're going to talk about the lockdown, but for me this has been an axe to grind for 16 years. That disinfection or the cleanliness or that part, and cutting corners on chemicals, which is why I never offered acrylic, because it's easily replaceable. But the thing is, these things really, as a somebody who introduced the business, this really bothers me. I wish that everybody will make money, but if they could just hold on to that. I don't know if it's to do with the attitude that it will work, don't worry, there's nothing wrong, it will work, so that's the only thing. Otherwise it's unstoppable. You're not going to be able to stop it. Every salon will have a nail table, and there will be many nail salons independently.
Yeah, like, you were going back to the 90s in Canada when you said you saw the Koreans, Chinese coming in, and the market, you said, accelerated very quickly. I don't think we've seen that kind of growth in India. That, I know
No.
about 7 years ago when we did I think it was a Pvt Delhi show, and we were shocked. We had about 12 nail brands all exhibiting, and people were telling us this is a nail exhibition, not a beauty exhibition, because we had so many. Now we're left with, just a handful. So rather than, spiking, it's really, I think, come down in terms of the kind of, the brands that are in the market, kind of, the nail techs, etc. So what do you think has been the kind of, what's the factor holding India back from, that nail segment, which will, it's never going to be large compared to hair and beauty, but why has it not accelerated the way it should have?
There is many reasons, but I think the main reason to answer your question, that there were so many brands, because everybody was doing it ethically. The brands were coming in and the brands were doing it ethically. But we have a lot of dilution from people who are trading with China. We have so many traders now. I get bombarded with messages. I don't know if they know who I am, but they're selling anything and everything at any price.
Price.
So when you have that kind of dilution in the market, it takes away from the brands, the mission that they have. See, today, like, somebody is calling me and asking, Nalini is getting calls, Jopan is getting calls, I'm getting calls. How, ma'am, what are you doing with the disinfection? How is this going to work? So then my sales team is saying, you haven't been buying products from us. We know where you're buying. Will that person now support you? Will that person now tell you how to disinfect your salon and how to get the client back? So this part is missing in India. We somehow, the people seem to think that all gels are equal, all products are equal. And if somebody is coming to my doorstep and selling it in my salon and giving me a price which is 50% cheaper, then what's wrong in taking it? Doesn't matter if I don't know how to use it, I'll learn it from YouTube. See, the brands are very focused. They want to sell you the product which is the best in terms of chemicals. They want to support you in education. They want to guide you in times like these, how to get your business back, and we're doing online trainings with all the people all over the country, with my sales teams, with the Zoom calls and all, trying to tell them how to rebuild their business. So this is what has taken a back seat because people are kind of not wanting to, they come for the shows, they want to see everything, they want the best. But when it comes to the purchase thing, then they think like, okay, the guy who's my local supplier, he can get me this and he can get me. And these, who these guys are, they're traders. So that is one reason.
So do you think this is a good, I think we were talking to some of the salon chains a couple of weeks ago, and even on the chats, the WhatsApp groups are on. But I think I was kind of raising that maybe this will be the time where salons and clients become a lot more conscious of quality, because this is not the time to mess around with cheap products, unsafe products, because one, because that's not fair on the clients. Two, we could damage a much bigger community if we're doing bad practices. So do you think clients are now going to be looking for quality brands, quality providers to come in and support them from the nail segment, for example?
All my clients, I can talk about the ladies that I've met in the 16 years, and they will definitely look for a place they can trust. I had somebody call me yesterday, and she was telling me that you have never worked for money. You're always there to mandate the cleanliness and the disinfection and this and that. So she says, I tell my friends, you don't work for money. But you see, the thing is, this is the kind of trust we want from everybody. We
Yeah.
want these people to trust us because we are doing the right thing. What's going to happen? I'm going to quickly tell you a little story and you'll understand where I'm coming from. My mindset is screwed up. I'm sorry to say that. But when I put that first petty chair in, petty chairs were not the in thing. These thrones were not the in thing in 2003. So 2004, when I ordered it from, I drove down to Kitchener, Ontario in Canada, 2 hours away, to look at Gulfstream, which is a big factory, a world global company that manufactures these chairs. And I chose the shiatsu rollers and the leather, not the vinyl. I want the leather. I want this. I want that. And then I said, what about the plumbing and the things? Is the next client? I don't want anything coming back from the previous client. And those days we had a lot of talk about these special plumbing. He says, well, that special plumbing is now a part of North America for these chairs. But I inquired in India and it was not possible. So I said, what do I do? He goes, you know what? I have a pump and I can attach that extra pump, and it's going to have a valve that will shut after the preview the client is done and you've disinfected. It's going to shut and nothing is going to come back. That's your 100% guarantee. So I said, okay, you put that. Oh, well, it's going to be ordered from France. It will come here and it'll take 90 days for me to deliver your chair.
Wow. Oh my God.
And I said, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I need that. So when the chair was installed and our first pedicurist, he said, what is this after every pedicure? You're telling me to clean it with soap and water. And then we were disinfecting it with Pursue, it's an Amway product, and leaving it there for a while and then cleaning it and then running the little giant, that pump, and then shutting it. He says, you're spending 1,500 rupees a month on this bottle. Why do you need to do it? You see, the mindset, my OCD, has always been the same even then. And even then, when I wanted to do the barbicide, the barbicide that the parlors use abroad, they dunk the combs and the scissors and everything. You don't get it in India. And when I was shipping it, it was costing me an arm and a leg. My brother, who's a surgeon in San Francisco, he said, you know what? We have something that we use for our tools. Find out from AIMS. I have a friend in AIMS. I spoke to them, All India Medical Institute in India, in Delhi. Got to know what are they using in the operation theater, how do they disinfect, because we've been doing it for 16 years. It is supplied by the hospital supplier. For me, this is not everything that we're talking about today is a normal.
Yeah.
But we train everybody who sets up a nail bar. We don't give our name, but we help people set up nail bars. Everybody in India, they come to me for a 3-day training, a one-on-one business management, theory, practical, everything. And I show them this 2 hours. This is the product. This is this. This is this. 5% use it.
Oh, that's crazy.
So that is a big thing in India that we are struggling with.
Yeah, and I think it's a really important thing to drive home now. So I know we've got all these various guidelines coming out from BWSSE. We did an interview with Godrej in the week about the Suraksha program, what the kind of advice they're giving to the industry. And I think there's this at this time, we just cannot take any shortcuts. It's really important that we really drive home this message around health, sanitization, sterilization, and
so the consumer has to ask for it. I think you and me as consumers have to demand.
Yeah.
We must ask, and we must ask them to show. It's not about I'm washing it with Dettol, I'm cleaning it with sanitizer. You do not clean your tools with a sanitizer. If you use your tools right after the service, it goes into either a barbicide or a glutaraldehyde, and it stays there till whatever the manufacturer wants. So you have double the number of tools in circulation. So all this is going to become a norm. Now this has to be. But then you and I have to ask for it. What are you disinfecting in? What are you putting it in? Right? Like yesterday, Blossom said, just this sanitizing thing. I agree. Just the sanitizing the tools is not going to work. So how do you think that we are going to bring the community together and also reach out to our clients and make them aware? I'm putting out short videos and all, but I like ideas. If you suggest, how do we reach out to all these people in India and say, one Babar and MP who did the wrong thing, and we became, salons became national TV news, right? So we don't want anybody bringing the industry down. How do we get these customers to demand it? You see, when there's a demand, you will have to supply it. There is no way.
I think part of the thing we're doing at PBI is collecting as much information as possible and hosting on. We're calling it a COVID library. So all different guidelines we're putting online, different videos like you're talking about from salons around social distancing. So we're trying to put as much information online and send it out to the industry as possible. I mean, because obviously we look at.
Done. You know BWSSC's done their guidelines as well.
Yeah, so, and they're now going to convert it into local language as well, so across Tamil, Hindi, etc.
Yes, that's right. That's right. But how do you get
what's the kind of? I was going to say. So, what's the kind of message that you're driving home at the moment with your clients, your salon clients? Because obviously there's no sales happening. So, what are you working on at the moment with regards to your client side?
We are reaching out to everybody and bringing out, I'm talking very detailed about what you need in a nail bar. And we have 5 areas that I worked with. And that's right from the staff to the client protection, to the in-salon disinfection, to the service, to the post-service, and even to the payment transaction. So we have a PowerPoint with all 5 areas. And now we're going to do the videos for all 5 areas, because we have to win the confidence of the client, and we want to make sure they know we're not a nail spa anymore. We're a nail clinic now. We're not a nail spa. That is done.
Very good.
Right. So that's what I'm aiming to reach out.
I'd be happy to. Brilliant. So I'm happy if you send us information. If you want to, happy to share that online on the PB platforms as well. So we can just keep driving the message. And then what? Getting to the kind of lockdown phase we're in. I mean, you would have been through many challenges in life, and you've bounced back, and even this phase will be over. We'll get over it. Hopefully we'll be opening up next month. Across the country. Goa's opened up at the moment. Sri Lanka's opening up next week. Like I said, Dubai's opened up. Europe is starting to open up across Spain, Italy. India will open up. By next month. What are some of the kind of changes you anticipate happening within the nail segment, post lockdown?
We have to win back our clients with the confidence that they are 100% safe. So yes, that clinic environment is one thing, and the other good thing is that the UV light is supposed to kill the virus. So now with our hands going into the UV light, that's an added bonus for us. But yes, we have to reach out and rebuild. I think the confidence of the client is very important. And there is no shamming. There is no talk. There is no marketing. You have to be honest and tell them, this is what I'm doing. And this is how I'm going to protect your health, my health and safety. Actually, I have people who have been with me 16 years. And if you take a survey, most of them will say, why have they been coming back to me is because she believes in disinfection. That's the one thing they'll tell you, those who are my loyal clients and have been coming back. And I hope now it's even more evident. And now it's even more important. But all of us as the pioneers, as the industry people, as the experts, we need to reach out to each and every nail bar out there. That's my wish. And I hope that they will go on this, on your link and listen to what we're talking about. I want to reach out to each and every salon out there and say, guys, we have to get our customers back. And this is how you do it. I have something that I can guarantee it works. Like I told you before, nails will work. I can tell you now this will work. Just listen to me, and I'm ready to train anybody. We're doing it online. We're doing the video. Unfortunately, the video can't happen till the salon, the spa opens, so we can showcase it. So, but you must also keep on telling everybody, to all the consumers, to watch what you're doing, because you're doing an awesome job by reaching out and getting this out into the open. Because who knows, sitting at home, what's happening in the real world? One day where lockdown is over and we're here and we don't know what to do. So,
and I think you're right. I mean, what's the message you would say to the consumer? Because I think you're really right that Sometimes it's hard as an ignorant consumer, ignorant of process and brand, etc., and what the salon's doing, that to really know what questions to ask. So whether it's from a hygiene point of view or even just using a brand or a technical point of view, what's the kind of questions you think consumers should be asking of their nail clinic?
For most important is that does this nail bar have a culture of cleanliness and disinfection? So now at least they're up there, and you should consider them. You ask them,
Yeah.
are you cleaning? What are you cleaning your tables with? What are you cleaning your non-porous implements? What are you cleaning your porous implements with? What are you using to disinfect all areas, and what is the safety from the technician? Like, are they wearing the PPE? They are going to look like they're working in the operation theater. I'm sorry, that's the way it's going to be, including me. If I'm there, I will have to do the same. And the client's health is our number one priority. So they must ask, and not just ask and listen. Oh, I'm doing it, I'm sanitizing, don't worry, come, I'm using disposable towels. Yes, I got a call from my hairdresser, and she said that I know you need the services, but what are you doing? Oh, I'm using disposable towels. That's not enough.
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Yeah.
I need to ask her more questions. What are you disinfecting with? What is the chemical that you're using? Because if everybody's a sanitizer word has become like, everybody's running on sanitizer. It's not the end all.
Yeah.
It's not going to clean your nippers and your pushers and your cutters. No, you're going to, we're talking about having shoe covers, and we're having the gowns, and we've got the masks and the safety glasses and the hair cap.
Yes.
So all that for the people, but what about the things that you're using? Those have to be 100% disinfected or sterilized, whichever way it is. It has to be. I would not risk my going to a hairdresser for any things. Now is not the time to ask about prices, packages, discounts. No, now is the time to ask, what are you doing for my safety? Am I 100% safe? Why should I come to you? Tell me, why should I come to you? I think that's what the consumer needs to ask. And also be demanding, be aggressive. Like we said, the fussy customer. Now is the time to be a fussy customer, right? And we're fussy too. If you have fever, we're going to say, sorry, ma'am, but I cannot take you in, right? So it works both ways.
Yeah, I know. And so, like, is that something you might run as a kind of campaign with your clients in your salons, in terms of they have the nail spa by Gurpreet kind of badge brand, which they and then consumers will know, okay, this is a quality conscious, health and safety conscious salon. Is that something like an idea you guys could use?
Absolutely, you're right. We need to do that, and we are waiting, like I said, we need to have access to at least one retail location to do this, to shoot the video, because all the chemicals have to be shown. They have to be mixed and showcased. I'm not just saying use this, but how do I make it? Where do I get it? How do I mix this? What's the proportion? So we are doing all that. We're going to have a detailed video, which is going to be the training for our guys. In the meantime, we're starting the online training with the PPT, with the PowerPoint. We're going to start with that, so that at least this is the protocol. And I cannot go from 1 to 4. I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the changing their mindset, firstly, and then we'll have the detailed one. But BWSCC is doing the questionnaire, which we are all talking about it, because the questionnaire may be just the starting point, so at least they know what they're supposed to do. But the next stage, like you said, is how do you train them? They must know firsthand, visually, what am I going to do? How do I treat the client? What is expected of me? Like, we have to cut down on their breaks. We have told them, we're going to cut down on your washroom breaks. You're not going to have lunch together. So this is all back-end training and front-end training both.
Good. So, I mean, we've done an hour, but just while we wrap up, once lockdown's over, and we're kind of, the next few months, we kind of get over this phase. what are you what's kind of exciting you about the future of the nail industry? So put this kind of lockdown bit aside. What's exciting you? What's driving you guys at at Nail Spa after this period's over?
We had innovation happening. As I told you, one of the products I was mentioning, there's a couple of other
Yes.
things that were happening, and we were really excited because they were going to come down in March and then July and this. So obviously that is still very exciting for me, because the product and the testing and the making life easy for everybody, for the entrepreneur, for the technician, the business person, for everybody. The product impacts everybody. If I can get 40 services out of one gel polish at nail spa, and the other brand can give you 25 or 30, that excites me. Because they don't know. They think this bottle, everything is the same. They're only looking at the price. But when you have a product that you have innovated, because you want India being a developing country, you want people to have a bigger margin. They have to make money, and that is why the price conscious entrepreneur, we have to do that. It costs us a lot to keep switching product. It costs us a lot to go out, I go to Europe and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at 150 gels and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like all this takes time and money.
Yeah.
And then you start working with 10 and then you have to go with process of elimination, and you come to a product that you tested and it works in India, and then you're excited to release it. So that's for me, the education. For me, making every woman look beautiful. For me, getting these people to learn faster. The making money is the entrepreneur side. But for me, it's this technician's life is going to become easy. He or she is going to do the job faster. He's going to learn faster. He'll progress faster. So these things excite me. And at Nail Spa, I think with my head around things, education, and the end result of making dreams come true, for me, it's like a direct connect. The rest is all happening. It's all there to support us. But the main thing for me, everybody has their own agenda. But for me, it's always going to be to make dreams come true and let these children have a good life, teaching them to fend for themselves for the rest of their lives. But yes,
it's a great,
you're going to have.
I think actually, sorry, Jess, go on.
No, sorry. I said the lockdown promise that you have, you must reach out. That's all. That you are the one who can reach out, and your access to the entire industry in India is huge. So if you can bring them on to the same, page and looking at things from all aspects that we just talked about, you're the only one who can do it.
Yeah, I know the team's working really hard. So I keep, I think like how you are with your team, like it's just ideas, and then it's like go execute. So I do drive them crazy nonstop. We are working 12, 14-hour days every day at the moment. But it's looking at like what you're doing. How do we serve the community? And I think we see that right now, our role is even more crucial because we want to get the industry back on its feet as fast as possible, which is why we're doing sessions like this. We're doing a lot of technical education because we want to keep people engaged, connected, because otherwise it's pretty tough out there mentally. So, that's what we're focusing on, as at PBI, and the team are working really hard on delivering.
I think you guys, along with BWSSC and the other groups that are now working towards getting help for the industry, I think everything put together will make a difference. Will definitely make a difference.
It will, yeah.
Yeah.
Super. And as long as we've still got pioneers like you still driving the community and the kind of work you're doing with, like you said, I don't want to say like underprivileged, but those from, lesser backgrounds, and giving them, the aspiration to have a real future in this industry. And, I think as long as we can look up to icons like yourself to keep supporting, that's great for us.
They're disheartened at the moment. You know how everybody is right now, all the operators for every category. But I'm sure we together, once we can bounce back, we can bring that motivation back, and we can give them the confidence, because it's a shock for them. They're very young. They've never seen anything like this. I've gone through so many different challenges that this is just one more.
Yeah, I know. So last question. Are you glad that you decided to go into figuring out nails and not doing golf?
I knew that was coming. I thought you would ask me, are you happy with being in India and not going back? But it's similar. No, I wish I had pursued both. I wish I had, because now with
You could
all
have been
this,
you could have been a professional. You could have been a professional golfer by now.
at least I would have had something to do other than work. That's what I say.
Yeah,
Because Canada, I have lots to do.
yeah.
I am writing my memoirs because my dear friend Jenny in Canada is hell bent on making me write, and she
Brilliant.
wants to do a book and a Netflix movie. So I don't know what she wants,
Wow.
but she makes me write. So
Super.
I got that now to do. But if I think golf would have been good. It would have been a good hobby.
Yeah. Super. Well, thank you, GS. Thank you so much for being part of this and giving a lot of kind of letting us get into your life and understand more, and also the kind of inspirational message for the community.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Right. Super. And I hope to see you soon in person.
Yes, yes. As soon as the lockdown is over, I think we're all going to, but no, we're not meeting yet. Yeah, but soon.
All right.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
GS. Thanks, Gurpreet. Thanks.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye. Bye.